So, rockets are falling out of the sky. Global currency is being threatened. Prices are rising. Stock market's falling. A lot of stuff like that going on. Dismantling of agencies, dismantling of democracy. Not that anybody could have anticipated this, right? But, you take a step back and you look at the swaths of destruction, and you can only think, well, Donald Trump is in charge. Everything's going swimmingly. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Mary Trump Live. It is wonderful to be here with you, and I am very happy for you to be joining us. Okay, on Thursday of this week, Donald issued an executive order. The guy just cannot get enough of signing his bloody name. What is going on? Can somebody please confiscate the Sharpies? It is getting intolerable. Anyway, he issued another executive order. Oh, great. Creating a government Bitcoin reserve, which marks a significant step toward the potential mainstream adoption of cryptocurrency. If that sounds alarming, it's because it is. In a move that can only be described as spectacularly idiotic. Of course. Donald took the stage and proved once again that he has absolutely no clue what he's talking about. Day ending and why, Let's watch.
From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well. Never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right? Who knows? Who knows? But so far, it's been right. And well, let's keep it that way.
That instills me with lots of confidence. The problem is he has made a lot of money by essentially, ripping people off because of things like meme coins. But look, unlike Donald, I am not going to pretend I know anything about cryptocurrency at all. However, I do know a thing or two about the American dollar. Why? I don't know, because I'm American and I think people should know these things. 60% of global central bank currency reserves are held in a specific currency, which, yes, happens to be the US dollar, which is basically the standard currency unit in which all goods globally are traded. It's also the way people make payment. Other countries make payments in commodity markets. So the idea that this know-nothing would be swayed by people like Elon Musk and the other oligarch tech bros, dudes, whatever, is a little disturbing because besides the fact that he doesn't know anything, there's nothing safe about an imaginary currency that some people just kind of made up. There is literally nothing to anchor cryptocurrency in reality. So, if you want to know why Donald is so interested to see whether or not there's still gold in Fort Knox, well, I think it's becoming clearer. Speaking of people who have absolutely no idea what they're doing, another Elon Musk SpaceX Starship rocket has exploded. I don't know if that's really what they're called, but if it is, that's kind of redundant. Anyway, yes, it exploded. It's the sixth explosion and eighth failure so far. I don't know. I mean, does that seem reasonable? Like, should anybody be allowed to let that many things explode accidentally? I think I'd get in trouble if I did that. Just like randomly exploded things accidentally. So last night, the FAA grounded traffic at 4 Florida airports after SpaceX craft broke apart in what Musk is calling a quote, you're going to want to write this down. I promise you. Quote, rapid unscheduled disassembly, unquote. That is what I'm calling it from now on, in that rare event I ever make a mistake. I mean, even when I'm not accidentally blowing things up. The agency temporarily suspended flights into Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Orlando. So what? Is that inefficient or something? Due to the potential presence of space launch debris in the area, as stated in an alert, which, as you can imagine, was probably not something else, some other stressor pilots want to be dealing with right now. Flight Radar 24 reports that multiple flights were seen holding their position off the coast of Florida and over the Caribbean. Take a look at this.
For the second time in less than 2 months, a rocket launched by Elon Musk's company SpaceX exploded and rained potentially dangerous debris down over a wide area of Earth, causing real chaos for planes and airline passengers. This was the most recent test of SpaceX's Starship rocket. Musk says he wants to use Starship to one day take people to Mars. This one lifted off around 6:30 p.m. Eastern from the southern tip of Texas. In a statement, SpaceX said that, quote, during Starship's ascent burn, the vehicle experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
Yeah, blew up. That's what happened. Blew up a lot. Well, I don't know if there's a degree of blowing up. I think if it blows up, it just blows up. So I think that he is going to get it right one of these days. It will also help, of course, that they're kind of gutting all the regulations that would make him do things differently. But no, he is going to get it right. That thing will take people to Mars. It's just that he needs to be the first person to go. Okay, well, we've covered 2 disasters already. Could there possibly be more? Yes, it could, because it's the Trump regime. Somehow Donald and his minions just keep finding new ways to outdo themselves when it comes to incompetence. So, of course, there's more. On Wednesday, a naturalized citizen named Jensi Machado was detained by ICE. She was looking for another guy. The incident has caused some reflection, which, is something else that fills me with confidence. Take a look.
While he was driving to work with 2 other men, he was stopped by ICE agents on Lamont Drive in Manassas, a short distance from his home.
And they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window. And, everything was really fast. I was telling the officer if I can give him the ID, but he said that just keep my hands up, not moving. And then after that, he told me to get out of the car. And then he put the handcuffs on me. And then he went to me and said, how did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And I told him I was an American citizen. And he looked at his other partner like, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? Because he asked the other guy, do you believe him?
Machado said he was uncuffed and immediately released after showing his driver's license. The incident has caused him to reflect.
Definitely, because like I say, I was Trump supporter. I voted for Trump last elections, but because I thought it was going to be the things, like be pointless, like just go against criminals, not every illegal Hispanic looking like that they will assume we are illegals.
Well, that makes much more sense. I thought that the reflection was coming from ICE. But no, that is another person who supported Donald, who was actually thought, hey, they're going to go after everybody else, not me. But he's a brown man in America with an accent. So I guess it's fair game, right? No, it's horrific. And it shouldn't be happening, but of course it's going to keep happening, and it's going to happen more often. I sincerely hope that Mr. Machado sues that police department for lots of money, and I hope he wins. And I also hope he becomes a Democrat, because that, at the moment, is literally the only reasonable thing to do if you're an American who cares about democracy. Oh, yeah, and not being treated like that. As we reported yesterday, Donald has now ruled, just kind of an odd way of putting it, but that's how he puts it in his little head, that DOGE will need to have a bi-weekly meeting with his cabinet. And by DOGE, he means Elon Musk. So at yesterday's meeting, things did not go particularly well. The cracks in the Trump regime are beginning to widen as Musk's already inflated ego kind of exceeded the size of the room. At the tense closed-door cabinet meeting, Marco Rubio, part-time Secretary of State and part-time, he has another job. Like he's also in charge of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms or something. And obviously he's very busy fetching Donald's Diet Coke for him. Anyway, Marco Rubio fired back. Wow, I'd like to see that. What does that look like? Marco Rubio firing back. At Musk, after Musk mocked him for not cutting enough staff from the State Department. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Diplomacy doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, Musk was quite sarcastic, claiming that he himself had only fired one DOGE employee. Pretty sure he got rehired, but anyway, because he was just racist enough. Rubio, again, shot back. I need video because I don't believe it. Anyway, pointing to 1,500 early retirements at the State Department, then mocked Musk's credit-grabbing tactics, asking if he wanted to rehire them just to fire them again. Well, that's efficient, so I'm sure Musk was all for it. Musk escalated the exchange, sneering that Rubio was quote-unquote good on TV. Jesus Christ, what television are you watching? In what universe has Marco Rubio ever been good on anything, let alone TV? Because honestly, I don't take any pleasure in watching somebody in any context, but certainly on live television during an interview. I do not like watching the tiny, tiny bit that's left of somebody's soul bleed out of their body. It's embarrassing. Anyway, there was an awkward silence, and then Donald came to the rescue. I guess he remembered, briefly, that it was allegedly his meeting and his cabinet, I think. He declared, this might be dangerous. He contradicted his boss and declared that Rubio was doing a great job, which also isn't true. So, a twofer. He contradicted his boss and he lied. Cool. Musk then clashed with transportation. He's just going to clash with everybody. Clashed with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy over DOGE's attempt to fire air traffic controllers, with Duffy accusing Musk's staff of chaos. Yeah. And Musk snapping back that it was a lie. Donald stepped in again. Wow, he was busy. That's probably more work than he's done in the last 6 weeks. I'm just actually surprised that he stopped playing golf enough to be there. He told Duffy to hire geniuses from MIT instead. Not entirely sure how that's going to solve anything. I mean, do we need physicists and chemists? Maybe. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know you can study other things at MIT, but I don't know why a transportation secretary would need graduates from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, unless they're really good mechanics or something. Anyway, following the meeting, Donald signaled a shift, posting that DOGE's next phase of cuts would use a scalpel instead of a hatchet. Though he still called Musk's effort an incredible success. Then why change anything, right? And let's be real, it's not going to be a scalpel. It's going to be that chainsaw that he was gifted by that crazy guy from South America. In case you're wondering, if there's any doubt at all whose side Donald is really on, here's something else he had to say. Quote, "We're going to be watching them. And Elon and the group," he's talking about the cabinet, "and Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can't cut it, it's better." He means make cuts. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting. Oh, well, all right. Consider them warned, cabinet. Let's face it. Anybody who would take a position in Donald's cabinet is de facto a horrific human being and a fascist. But these guys are also just complete sycophants. So they're going to do whatever they're told. And they're going to do whatever Elon Musk tells them to do because Donald isn't saying otherwise. So essentially, the cabinet is just an echo chamber there to praise their dear leader. Just unfortunately, they don't usually know which one it is they're supposed to be praising. So I expect there won't be much pushback anymore after that debacle. Attorney General Pam Bondi is scrambling for a do-over after her highly anticipated Epstein document dump turned into a complete and utter embarrassment. This, of course, enraged MAGA loyalists who found nothing new in the heavily redacted release, including, people who reacted badly were Laura Loomer and Steve Bannon. And while if Laura Loomer and Steve Bannon are upset with you, then you really must have done something wrong. Actually, I aspire to that, but Pam Bondi is also a sycophant and a fascist. So I'm sure she's very upset about it. Play the clip, please.
What's interesting is we're all waiting for bombshells, we're all waiting for juicy stuff, and that's not what's in this binder. That's not what's in this binder at all.
It is the biggest disappointment I think that you'll find. I encourage you to do your own homework on this. It's mostly procedural jargon, Glenn, heavily redacted.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, the Florida Republican leading this charge, said of the binders, all caps, "This is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment." And the Republican-controlled House Judiciary Committee made a post claiming to link to the Epstein files that actually directed folks to the music video for Rick Astley.
Oh, well, that'll make everybody feel better. Do these people not understand that I'm speculating that there's a very good possibility that Donald Trump's name is all over these documents? A lot of people did a lot of horrific things to enable Jeffrey Epstein. And it is a crime against humanity what was allowed to happen. A lot of those people were in some of those people were in Donald's first cabinet. And you know who else was among them? Pam Bondi. Bondi awkwardly blamed the FBI for misleading her and promised a second batch of documents. Yes, please, don't hold your breath. Adding to the tension, Donald himself has been hesitant. Well, here you go. This is called a shoe dropping about full transparency, warning last year against releasing phony stuff that could hurt people. I'll translate. Actual facts that could hurt him. And not just hurt him, but implicate him. Although, because of the times in which we live, I say with great despair that I don't even know it would matter anymore. Now, Bondi claims that she's received a quote-unquote truckload of additional documents from the Southern District of New York, and she vows a second release, though given last week's fiasco, expectations are low. And the reason they're low is because she may find stuff out that she does not want to release because she doesn't have any integrity at all. So if we hear nothing about it again, I'm speculating wildly here once more, it probably means that there's information in there that will hurt people who gave her her job. Now, for an update on Donald's lawsuit against CBS, this is actually quite shocking in a good way, which is a nice change. The lawsuit is because he claimed the network manipulated footage from former Vice President Kamala Harris's 60 Minutes interview in order to interfere with voters in 2024. It's an absurd, baseless lawsuit. But, anybody can bring a lawsuit about against anybody in this country. CBS had reportedly considered settling the $20 billion with a B dollar lawsuit to avoid jeopardizing an $8 billion merger deal, which would require the Trump regime's approval. But now the network is fighting back. Just let's think about that for a second. $20 billion. And they were actually considering settling Like, what is that number? What is that number? If you're starting at $20 billion, what is that number for which you settle? Forget about the money for a second. What kind of precedent? I'm sorry, it's not a precedent because all sorts of media outlets have been doing this kind of shit since he got elected. Right? So, what kind of message does that send? If CBS were one more media corporation to cave. Also, by the way, interviews get edited because they need to be. You know, you see sometimes if you read a piece, it says it brought edited for flow and clarity, or what have you, or there's repetition, or there were outtakes. Whatever. There's nothing underhanded or wrong about that. It's just standard operating procedure. And here's the other thing too. He won. He won. What is the even if there were some nefarious plot, which there wasn't, it didn't have any impact. You know what did have an impact? The $290 million Elon Musk spent to help Donald Trump get elected. That should be a lawsuit. So on Thursday, again, to the surprise of pretty much everybody, CBS filed a motion to dismiss, calling Donald's lawsuit an affront to the First Amendment, which it is. And they argued that it seeks to control editorial decisions, which is unconstitutional. Yes, exactly. But again, Donald hasn't read the Constitution, so what would he know? Network lawyers added that the Trump regime is seeking to punish a news organization for this is a quote, seeking to, quote, punish a news organization for constitutionally protected editorial judgments they do not like. Precisely, unquote. Well, unquote, precisely. To disprove his claims, CBS previously released the unedited footage of the interview, which should have been the end of this very expensive nonsense. The legal team is also pushing for the case to be thrown out or moved to New York, where CBS is headquartered. Donald's legal team remains defiant, of course, vowing to hold the network accountable while appointed FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr is investigating, adding yet another layer to the legal battle. But, it's very easy to dig in your heels for a baseless lawsuit if you are not paying your legal bills. Donald's legal bills get paid by Republican donors. I do not know why that's legal. But he doesn't care. He doesn't care how many lawsuits he's in. Also, all the lawsuits that are going on about his executive orders and, DOGE and the dismantling of agencies, we're paying for all of those because we fund the DOJ. So it's just yet another tactic that he's allowed to use because he can always outweight and outspend everybody. Thank you so much, John Roberts and the corrupt, illegitimate supermajority of the fucking Supreme Court. This is awesome. So I want to read you a quote from Stephen Levitsky, who's a professor of government at Harvard, and he co-authored the 2018 book, How Democracies Die. Well, a little prescient there. It's a good book. Check it out. So, quote, when you see important societal actors, be it university presidents, media outlets, CEOs, mayors, governors, changing their behavior in order to avoid the wrath of the government, that's a sign that we've crossed the line into some form of authoritarianism, unquote. Today, DOGE, backed by federal law enforcement, attempted to take over the U.S. African Development Foundation, USADF, on Donald's orders to shut down foreign aid programs. Okay. That's wrong on so many levels. Let's get to how. This resulted in a physical standoff at the agency's headquarters. Peter Morocco, Donald's de facto leader of USAID, yeah, well, that fits. Everybody in his cabinet, everybody in his employment who's in charge of something is in charge of dismantling it. So cool. Morocco attempted to remove Senate confirmed board members in order to gain access to USDF's computer systems and personnel files. Staffers blocked DOGE's entry before federal marshals were called to escort them out on Thursday. Play the clip.
U.S. District Judge Richard Leon issued a temporary injunction to prevent Ward Broom's removal as president of USADF until at least Tuesday. Brehm sued after the Department of Government Efficiency sought to assume control of the agency, which focuses on investing in African grassroots enterprises. The lawsuit claims that only the USADF board has the authority to remove Brehm and that the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle the agency are unlawful. USADF insists it will comply with legal obligations and maintain its operations despite the administration's interference.
DOGE changed the office locks and attempted to shut down USADF's Twitter account, raising serious concerns about free speech violations as part of the Trump regime's broader effort to dismantle foreign aid agencies. USDF was created by Congress 45 years ago, and its board members must be Senate confirmed. Lawyers argue Donald's lack of authority to dissolve the agency unilaterally, setting up a major legal battle over executive power and foreign aid policy. Okay. Once again, there is literally no question here. This is wrong. He does not have this authority. And by the way, what in the world are U.S. Marshals doing, acting illegally as law enforcement? And even if law enforcement were called, in what universe is it appropriate to remove people who are legitimately at their place of work? These are the brown shirts. Now, let's just face that one straight on. These are brown shirts. In more DOGE news, the Environmental Protection Agency now requires approval from DOGE on all expenditures over $50,000. Okay. Raising concerns about bureaucratic interference. Thank God we don't have unelected bureaucrats running our government. Wouldn't that be awful? Donald's sycophant and minion, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who's horrible, by the way, obviously a Republican and a fascist, vows to slash spending by 65%, threatening funding for climate programs, pollution monitoring, and disaster response. Who needs that shit? Seriously. I mean, it's like you whiny people who want your children to have clean air and water. Get over it. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat of Rhode Island, argues that unvetted DOGE staff lack expertise, jeopardizing air and water quality monitoring, waste cleanup, and environmental enforcement. Senator Whitehouse contends Donald's executive orders restricting the EPA funding violate congressional authority, setting up yet another potential court battle. Cuts to climate grants, clean energy programs, and environmental oversight could weaken protections and increase pollution risks nationwide. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. But you know what else the point is? To keep doing this illegal, unconstitutional stuff so that everything gets tied up in the courts so they can continue to do it unimpeded until finally, hopefully, a judge blocks them. And then, of course, they appeal, but ignore the judge's ruling. Have we crossed the Rubicon yet? I ask those of you out there who are in positions of authority who continue to claim we are not yet in a constitutional crisis or crises. On Monday, March 3rd, Tracy DeMartini, the IRS head of human resources, was fired after refusing to comply with Elon Musk's DOGE, and now she's vowing revenge. Hallelujah. Because again, he has absolutely no legitimate authority over anything he's doing. DeMartini was placed on leave for alleged quote unquote ineffective management, which is just code for not doing whatever Elon Musk told her to do. Basically, the Trump regime's not going along with the Trump regime's mass federal firings, and she was also accused of insubordination toward DOGE. You cannot be insubordinate to an agency that is illegal, unconstitutional, and to all intents and purposes kind of doesn't even exist. It is illegitimate from beginning to end. DeMartini insists that was the real reason for her refusal to remain silent. She says she was targeted for informing IRS staff, quote, where firings were coming from, unquote, and for refusing to force already overworked employees to come in over the weekend to onboard a DOGE staffer, despite their working 60 to 70-hour work weeks at the peak of tax season. Just very quickly, this is at a time when, because of Musk and the Office of Personnel Management, federal workers are now required to be in the office 5 days a week instead of 2 days a week and working at home the other 3 hours. When you work at home, you're not slacking off. You have to log in. Your hours get tracked. So not only can people not work from home anymore, their lives are completely disrupted. Everybody's under massive amounts of stress. There's overcrowding in offices. And if you need to work overtime, you have to do it in the office, or not overtime because they're federal employees. But if they have to work outside of their normal working hours, they don't get credit for it. Like, you can accrue credit towards extra leave, for example. If you don't go into the office to do the extra work, if you do it at home, you don't get credit for it. So DeMartini's fighting back. She's arguing that DOGE is hijacking federal hiring to install loyalists to Donald while bypassing civil service protections in direct violation of Title V of the U.S. Code. A 21-career federal employee, she's challenging her dismissal, warning those who fired her, quote, they have no idea who they picked a fucking fight with, unquote. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. DeMartini. Can we clone you, please? I mean, that should be happening everywhere in massive numbers. Look, I know it's not easy. I know people need to earn a living. I know that people in this situation understand just how vengeful and cruel these people are. So I completely understand if people are not in a position to do what DeMartini has done. However, people who are in a position to do it and aren't doing it, you might want to rethink that, because history will not look upon you kindly. The Trump regime's military is rushing to scrub all DEI content and therefore erase history. Cool. Today, the Pentagon removed over 26,000 images from its database as part of its DEI purge. Defense officials say the total could exceed 100,000 as the crackdown continues across military websites and social media. The purge disproportionately affects images celebrating women and minorities in the military, including the Tuskegee Airmen, the first female Marine infantry graduates, and Medal of Honor recipients. Some Women's History Month and Black History Month content has already been deleted. Some images were flagged due to file names containing the word gay, including references to the Enola Gay bomber. Remember that? And military personnel with the surname Gay, because that's a name people have. Additionally, an Army Corps of Engineer fish research project was flagged because it mentioned species genders. That's the scalpel, right? Is that the scalpel? A Pentagon spokesperson praised the rapid compliance despite growing backlash over the loss of historically significant records. And, you know, that's one of the real problems we're facing right now, that there are people who will praise this corrupt and destructive. Like, what's the word? It is so awful. I mean, it's petty, right? In some respects, it's just petty. That, like, who's like thinking up this stuff? Well, somebody who's probably very highly paid by us to work for Elon Musk and DOGE. Like, I'm sure these prepubescent idiots are just sitting around. Hey, how can we screw around with them today? Like, what sort of diabolical, petty, mean thing can we come up with that nobody will see coming? The problem, though, is that it's not just petty. It's dangerous, and it harms people. Representation matters, right? Well, we're erasing that for huge numbers of people in this country. Women, Black Americans, gay people, people in the LGBTQ plus community overall. We are deleting them and their history. And anybody who's okay with that, you are just not worth talking to. A New Mexico adult who was unvaccinated and tested positive for measles has died, marking the second fatality in a measles outbreak along the West Texas-New Mexico border. Officials reported that on Thursday, March 6th. The individual did not seek medical attention prior to their death, according to the state's health department. Watch this report.
Health officials say an adult who died tested positive for measles in Lea County, New Mexico, the second deadly case of measles in the U.S. this year. The unvaccinated adult testing positive for measles but not seeking treatment. 10 cases reported in the county so far.
As the measles outbreak spreads across Texas, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy posted photos of himself hiking in California on Instagram. Good for him. This, of course, caused frustration among officials trying to control the crisis. Crisis? What crisis? It's fine. Quote, "It's a serious role. He's just a couple of weeks in, and measles is not a common occurrence, and it should be all hands on deck," unquote, said one former administration official, granted anonymity to describe private conversations with current health officials. Yeah, because why would current health officials speak out? They want to keep their jobs. Quote, "When you're taking a selfie out at Coachella, it's pretty clear that you're checked out," unquote. Well, no worries. I mean, I'm talking to you, Kennedy. No worries, because when I think the finest representative of the Republican Fascist Party in its current incarnation, Marjorie Greene, is all over this. In a tweet earlier today, she had this solution to the deadly disease. Quote, "They used to have measles parties, basically get all the kids together so they could all catch it and develop immunity. Then, when I was a kid, they did the same thing with chickenpox. Now they demonize parents who refuse to vaccinate their kids," unquote. Well, I'm actually demonizing people who tell parents not to get their children vaccinated. The whole reason this started was because the county in which is ground zero for this outbreak has among the highest rates of unvaccinated children in the whole country. It's almost 20%. The national standard required to prevent communicable disease spread is 95%. So, 80% is much, much lower than that. So I condemn people like you, Green, and you, Kennedy, because you know better. Well, maybe she doesn't because she's quite stupid, but Kennedy knows better. I don't know what his motives are, and I don't care. But I also blame every single person who thought that putting him in charge of our nation's health was reasonable or sane. Let's breathe, shall we? It's Friday. I always think it's Friday, but it actually is Friday today. It's amazing. We made it. Congratulations. Okay. So there's no music to this video, and I think sometimes that's for the best, honestly. But this is a video of a newborn turtle exploring the forest. And this may calm me. Well, me. It may calm all of us down, but maybe it'll even calm me down. Oh, check it out. First of all, who needs music when you've got crickets and birdsong? I mean, seriously, that was beautiful. That was very calming. I'm not entirely sure the other part. Like, if by exploring you mean taking a couple of steps and falling off. You know, I could do that. Anyway, that was very cute, and I love the frog cameo. Frog's like, I'm just chilling, and maybe Turtle's in the background, and then Frog's like, I'm out of here. I want that on a loop, please. Okay, so let me get to your questions and comments. I could not contain myself because that's like an entirely new definition of exploring. 2 steps, fall off a cliff. The baby turtle was not harmed in the making of that video. Just want you to know. Oh, just a quick thing. A couple of you have asked for us to turn on the credit card function. We have no control over that whatsoever. If we did, we would. But unfortunately, YouTube does not give us that functionality to do it during live broadcasts. So, I mean, maybe that will change. Sorry, not credit card. Sorry. What was I thinking? I don't know what I was thinking. Closed captions. Jesus, I'm very sorry. Closed captions. That makes so much more sense. I think it's because when I write CC down, I mean credit card, and I forgot. Anyway, closed captioning. We wish we could do that, and we apologize, but it's just not a functionality that's available on YouTube. But you know, it should definitely do that for obvious reasons. So thanks for flagging it, and if there's anything we could do about it, obviously we will in the future. Now there's not. Lizzie Beth, thank you so very much. Question: will Donald declare martial law just before the midterms? I don't know if we're gonna have to wait that long, quite honestly. I think the safest place from which to start is always expect worse. My way of looking at this regime is, and Donald, actually, frankly, as an individual human being, there is no such thing as worst. Things will always get worse and worse and worse. He will always outdo himself. So, yeah, be prepared for all of it. Because he's looking for an excuse. He's looking for an excuse. You know, he's been talking for months about invoking the Insurrection Act of, like, I think 1789 or something. Yeah, he's gunning for it. So we need to be vigilant. Canadian AGM super sticker. Canada, you rock. I love what you guys are doing up there. And I want blue states to start. So in Canada, taking all American alcohol, all of it, wine, but especially stuff made in red states like bourbon. And I think this is true. I think Canada buys more US bourbon than any other country on the planet. They're taking all of it off the shelves. It's fabulous. And they're buying Canadian, although I said this earlier. You can still buy Italian and French wine because that's awesome as well. But we stand with you, Canada, and I seriously hope that New York starts doing that as well. At least New York City. It wouldn't happen in other parts of New York, but such a great idea. Maxwell, thank you so much. Comment: Bitcoin is the new wooden nickel. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Do not take wooden nickels. I think that was the saying way back before my time. So no, I'm not dating myself, for those of you who were wondering. Cindy, super sticker. Thanks so very much, Cindy. Joni, thank you very much. And then, yeah, that's the closed caption question that I just answered. And I'm so sorry. And of course we would, but they won't let us. There's just not that option. Karen, super sticker. Thank you very much. Robin, thank you. That's very generous. Comment, may Donald J emulate Elmo's rockets in every way. Thanks for all you do, Mary. You're quite welcome. Of course, we're speaking metaphorically. But yes, I mean, Donald's already doing it. He is crashing and burning spectacularly. Sadly, the fallout is falling on all of us. Oh, well. Suki56, thanks so very much. Question: did ICE pick up Rubio for being brown? Just asking. Well, Marco Rubio is just doing his best white guy imitation. Just surprised he hasn't started calling himself Mark. Give it time, learning curve and all. Oh, Suki, again, thank you so much. Question: Ice didn't pick up Donald. He's orange. Just saying. Well, I think there's a chart. There's a color chart, and he does not fall into the right category of wrong color. Patricia, another Canadian. Go Canada. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Comment: read the latest New York Times article. Donald wants to undo the Canadian borders and throw away all previous treaties. This is serious. Oh yeah, this is deadly serious. He's not kidding. He's out of his mind. He's got it in his head that he not just wants to, but can annex Canada, which is certifiably insane. It just is. But it doesn't mean that he's not going to do whatever he can to make it happen. And I'm not kidding about this. I actually just think it's because Justin Trudeau is so much of everything that Donald's not. He's smart. He's attractive. He has dignity. I mean, attractive, who cares? Donald cares. He's charming. All of those things that Donald is not and never will be. So, which is not a great pretext for starting a unilateral, unprovoked war, but he's Donald. Dust Tracy super sticker. Thanks so very much. That's much appreciated. Diane super sticker. Thank you so much. Man, Canadians in the house. Wojtek, CYVR. Thank you so much. Comment: finally, I caught you live. Like your show and humor. It's like a glimpse of light among all of the surrounding of darkness. Well, thank you so much, Wojtek. That's very kind of you to say. And again, we truly appreciate your donation and all Canadians because, well, one, because we do and we support you, but two, because we may want to become one of your states someday. If you want us. When I could completely understand if you don't. Zilly, thank you so much. Comment: thanks for bringing some consistency to Cuckoo Land. Well, we try our best. It is not always easy. But then again, what is easy? Appearing sane in contrast to these crazy people. Yeah, so there you go. 80KH super sticker. Thank you. That's great. Sherry, thank you very much for that. Question: Fella never showed empathy or sympathy for anyone or anything, like maybe when his parents... Sorry, I shouldn't laugh about that. But no. Russia is now bombarding Ukraine and hitting hospitals and schools. Does that have any effect on him at all? No, it doesn't. He likes it. Now, as to whether he ever felt empathy or sympathy, yeah, there was a time. I mean, it was poorly done because it was not encouraged in my family. So it didn't come easily to him. But there was, at one time, I mean, this was decades ago, there was a spark of kindness in him. Like on occasion, he tried. I mean, he failed spectacularly, but he tried. And it just got beaten out of him. I mean, not literally. It just atrophied because it wasn't appreciated or valued. And then, unfortunately, not in addition to my grandfather and people like Roy Cohn, over time, other people kept admiring and valuing the worst things about him. So he has no empathy anymore. No, like what kind of monster rejects Ukrainian refugees who were allowed to come here because their country is at war with what used to be our enemy, an enemy that invaded a sovereign nation illegally? He's withdrawing all protections from Ukrainian refugees. He's a monster. So yeah, sadly. Sybil, thank you so very much. Question. Do you think, I don't know if you're calling me Trump. If you are, I appreciate that. That's what everybody called me when I was a child. Yeah, for those people wondering, like, why I don't change my name, is because it's my name. There's that. But it's also what everybody called me when I was a kid. So it was like my name. I answered to it. Do you think Big Balls knows anything about the MGM and Caesars being hacked by the Russian group Scattered? I don't know what I apologize. I don't know anything about that, but it sounds kind of fascinating. Spiders freak me out though, so I wish it were called something else. But we'll look into that because that's potentially unnerving. Suki 56 again. Thank you. Question. So why is it okay for DOGE to be able to blow up spaceships and not close X space? Just asking. I wish. Well, there's a quite obvious but also awful reason, because Elon Musk is making sure that there's nobody left to oversee anything he does or regulate any of his businesses. That's why. I'm pretty sure you and I would not be allowed to blow up 6 things. Or, forgive me, I apologize. Rapidly disassemble things in midair. Call me crazy. I'm going to get this right this time, ET Photo. I am not falling for that again. Super sticker. Thank you so much. That was embarrassing when I mispronounced it last time. R1B3Y3. Thank you so very much. Excellent. California Cat Whisperer. Super sticker. Thank you. Val85. Thank you as well. You guys are great. Bill, thank you as always. That's fantastic. Emily, another super sticker. Thank you, Emily. F-150 Chick, Canadian. Wow, Canada taking over. I love it. Well, Donald's trying to take you over. I think it's the least that could happen. Very, very generous of you. Comment, your show is the best part of my day. Oh, wow. That's fantastic. You know what? It's like the best part of my day, too. I love doing this. Thanks for all you do. I realize none of this is easy for you. Canadians love you. Keep on keeping on. Well, you know what? That just made my day. In addition to the show, that totally just made my day. So thank you. I love that. And I do love Canada. I think I need to spend a lot more time there, actually. Trust the dog. Question. Explain why 10 Democrats censured one of their own. Because they're weak and spineless. And this Democratic Party seems not to understand the mission or the times in which we live. And I'm sorry to say, right now, it seems like they don't have a leader, which kind of freaks me out. The other problem is they continue, and this is in evidence, not just by that their abysmal and embarrassing performance during the address before the joint session of Congress, but the fact that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer picked Alyssa Slotkin, who's like so moderate, she's embarrassed to call herself a Democrat. That is not what we need. They keep going after the imaginary middle when what they need to be doing is inspiring their base, and they keep fucking it up. Doesn't make me angry or anything, but that's what's going on. Yeah, it is. It's disgraceful that Hakeem Jeffries did not say, "You dare not vote to censure this man. It's bad enough that you just let him be removed by himself without lifting a finger." But no, you know what Jeffries did? He said, "Hey, vote however you want." Thanks. That's leadership. Steven, super sticker. Thank you so much, Steven. Jane, another super sticker. Excellent. Thank you so much. Nancy, another super sticker. Very generous of you, Nancy. Much appreciated. Douglas, another super sticker. Thank you as well. That's great. Stephanie, another super sticker. Thank you very much for that, Stephanie. Janice, thank you very much for that. Question. Does Donald have a reading problem? I mean, I don't know. But I think I know enough to speculate that I think he did have some kind of learning disorder, but he hasn't been tested and he never will be. So one can only hypothesize about such things. I wouldn't stake my life on it because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's why a full battery of medical and psychological tests should be required if you want to be a candidate for the only job in the world you can get if you're a felon and an insurrectionist. Go America. Oh yeah, no FBI background checks either. Leo Girl, super sticker, thank you so much. Stephanie, thank you. Comment, you're amazing. Thank you for, well, okay, that's overstating it, but thank you. I really appreciate that. We love what we do here, and it helps tremendously to know that you guys appreciate our work. It really, really does. Because you may have noticed, but these are very tough times. Love my dogs a lot. Thank you so much as always. That's very generous of you. Comment, stopping in to say hi. By the time your show comes on, I am a combination of pissed off and depressed. Yeah, but you lift me up. I love your sense of humor. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Because, like, how else are we going to get through this? Like, seriously, how else? There's only one way to do it, and we have to, when we can. Obviously, we have to be serious a lot because there's a lot going on that should not be mocked. But Donald can be. So that's always a great thing to fall back on. Stelly, thank you so very much. Comment, hey, Mary, keep going, or I might lose my mind, LOL. Well, no, you won't. But I'm not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Just me, Australia in the house. Thank you as always for that. Question: have you heard anything about Canadian officials being denied entry to the White House today? I have not. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm just not sure why they would have been there, but let me check, because that would be, well, it tracks. But, it's sort of like another escalation. VG, thank you so very much. Comment, Mary's the only Trump that matters to me. Very sweet. Thanks for being here. Well, thank you for being here. It's very kind of you. There is another really awesome Trump, but I keep her under wraps. Wild Stillness, thank you very much. Question, if there is ever time, will you talk about Donald being a malignant narcissist? Thanks for all you do. Your program is light in my day. Well, I'm very happy that this is light in your day. We really try very hard to keep things balanced here. We don't want anybody slipping into despair, even though I know that would be easy under the circumstances. But I wrote a lot. I made my first book, which is called Too Much or Never Enough. The subtitle, which I don't know, maybe prescient. You may think it's prescient. How my family created the world's most dangerous man. Yeah, I think that's fairly accurate. The first part of it is it's essentially a psychological history of my whole family, like how Donald got to be the way he got. But I do not diagnose him, and the reason I don't is because diagnosing somebody is a process. It's a lengthy process. You have to be highly trained in order to do it, and you need to know your stuff, and you need to see the patient. And I mean, just administering a test. First, you do an intake. Administering the test alone takes about 8 hours. Then it takes another 8 hours to do the to sift through the data. Well, to score, sift through the data, analyze, write the report. It's a lot of work. So even though, obviously I'm qualified because that's what I used to do in part. Not only is he not he could never be, he's my uncle. So I know I am not comfortable diagnosing him. Although there are plenty of people, like, I do not think he needs to be your patient. If you're a trained professional, yeah, you can diagnose him. You can. So I am not going to object to that terminology. But I also think, and I'm happy, maybe I'll make a video about this. Actually, I think that's a good idea. Because I'm happy to explain around the edges of labeling things. Why, how he's deteriorated and what that all means. And I also do think there's a point, though, at which, does it matter? I mean, it's important. It has explanatory power, I guess, to a point, but look what he's doing. But yeah, I think I'll definitely make a video about that. So thank you for asking. Tia Mia, thank you so very much. Comment, you keep us sane, Mary. Love your books and you. Oh, that's very kind of you. I really appreciate that. I take that. I don't actually want to be responsible for people's sanity, but if it helps, honestly, I find that's very gratifying, and that means a lot. So thank you. Neutron. Whoa. Thank you, Neutron. That's going to go a long way. Really phenomenal. Comment, Mary Trump, A+. Well, I have a lot of help. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Swanky Wheels, Swanky of Nomadland. Thank you so much. Question. I signed the petition to impeach him today. What is this crypto crap conference he's having right now? Yeah, I mean, listen, we need to do whatever we can, whether it's signing petitions or protesting or what have you. So good. The crypto stuff, I'm telling you, I don't understand crypto. To me, again, layperson, know nothing about it. It seems like complete and utter bullshit. It seems like a total scam. And yeah, people are making money off of it because Donald and Elon Musk are promoting it. So what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but they're really pushing this stuff. But I think whatever money they're making, it's fake. Like, it's fictional, and it could go away at any moment. So I don't get it. And I have to be honest with you, I don't want to. It just seems like a waste of my time. We have the dollar. Well, at least for now. Man. Oops, what did I do? Oh, there we go. Barbara, super sticker. Thank you so much, Barbara. Trust me, again. Thank you. Very kind. Yep. Thank you. Cub reporter on the ground in Australia doing our research for us. Comment. Just found it. 2 Canadian mayors were denied entry to the White House. Yeah, well, that's the petty. It's not gonna end well for him because he's getting played by Justin Trudeau, all of Canada, and President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. And I have no doubt he's going to get played by China as well. I mean, he's been getting played by Russia for decades, but he seems to like that. So anyway, thank you so much for that information. I'm going to look into that a little more because that's just, where we are. All right, that does it for us. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks to everybody watching on YouTube. The tiny number of people who are still able to find us on Twitter. It's a mystery. I don't know why. Twitter doesn't seem to like me anymore. Weird. And of course, everybody listening to the podcast, we really appreciate that because we're trying to build our podcast numbers. To everybody commenting, your comments are fantastic. And of course, to our super stickers and people giving us donations, I promise you the money goes to very good cause. We are trying to build an independent media outlet that makes a difference in people's lives. Our mission here is to tell you the truth and get our facts right always. So your support is invaluable. And we are now at almost 315,000 subscribers on YouTube. Our next goal is 350,000, which would be incredible. So, thank you all for being a part of that. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And after you do, click on the bell icon because that way you'll be alerted when new videos drop because we have new videos dropping every single day. I do a bunch of pre-recorded videos that sort of do deeper dives into specific topics. Some of them are about breaking news. Some of them are about family history and how to help explain what we're dealing with right now. So definitely check those out. Like, share them, all that good stuff. It's Friday. So I will not be back until Sunday at 6 p.m. for Ask Mary Anything Within Reason. Again, we've got a new episode of Trump Trolls Trump happening tomorrow. Those are fun. Those are really fun. So I think if you need a palate cleanser, definitely, I think you guys will like those if you haven't seen them already. New one every week, every Saturday. More videos on Sunday. I think we have one dropping later tonight. So check all of that stuff out. So thank you also to our excellent moderators who really keep this a community. And of course, to my extraordinary team who just is just doing the most extraordinary work. So thanks, guys, as always. And I will see you Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, everybody, please stay safe and be really, really kind to yourself and to everybody else. Thanks. Have a great night. Bye.